Welcome back, chooms, and welcome to a new video. So today we're gonna be talking about Project Orion, which is the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. And you're probably asking yourself, why are we talking about this? Because Project Orion is still very, far away in the development, and we're not gonna see it for a very long time, when before it we have the new Witcher game. And yes, you would be right, when it comes to Project Orion or Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, it is said that it's only gonna be entering the early production very soon, and that means that they're still very much in concept phase, and majority of staff and majority of people are right now developing the new Witcher game. But yesterday CD Projekt sent out an email from their press center, and here they talk about a lot of things which are actually happening in the Boston studio in North America, which is gonna be developing that Project Orion. And this email talks a lot about hirings and some of the teams which are going to be working on the game. And not just that, but also the basically team leads and people that are going to be at the helm of this development and who are going to be deciding what the next Cyberpunk game is going to be. So let's go through the entire press release that CD Projekt sent. So Cyberpunk 2077 follow-up, codenamed Project Orion, grows in strength at CD Projekt Red North America. CDPR has announced several high-profile additions to the team working on Project Orion. The anticipated follow-up to Cyberpunk 2077 being headed up by the US and Canada-based CD Projekt Red North America. So first off, they're going through some of the names that we already know about, which I'm going to go through, and those are the people you kinda know already from the studio and CDPR in general. So Project Orion is currently in the early stages of development, with studio veterans previously involved in Cyberpunk 2077 and its spy thriller Phantom Liberty expansion spearheading the project, including Gabriel Amantangelo, so he's going to stay the game director for the Cyberpunk sequel. Pavel Sasko became Associate Game Director, so that's his new position at CD Projekt Red. This was actually announced yesterday. Igor Straczynski, Creative Director, Andrzej Stopa, who is going to be Cinematic Director, Kacper Niepokolicki, who is the Environment Art Director, and I always have a problem pronouncing his last name, but big props to him, he's a great dude. We have Sara Gruma, who's going to be the acting lead quest designer, and Kacper Koshinecki, I hope it's pronounced like that, who's going to be the engineering director. This group is now a part of the larger team based in the newly created CDPR studio in Boston, Massachusetts. So a lot of these names that we already know from Cyberpunk 2077 are returning back, and I'm really glad that Gabe is also going to stay the game director for Cyberpunk, because he has made a lot of pretty cool additions, and he, I believe, brought a fresh eyes into the studio, and all of the decisions that him and his team made for Update 2.0, Update 2.1, Phantom Liberty and everything else were honestly pretty good so far, and the game is really turning into something which I think is more of their vision for the next Cyberpunk game, especially when you look at all of the new systems which were designed and bringing back a lot of those fun elements back into the game. And I think for Gabe that's very important, especially having, of course, the main RPG like line of the game, because ultimately CDPR creates RPG games, but at the same time work more on the open world design and also making the game sandboxy in some way, because they did. I mean, adding you all of those different abilities which you have after update 2.0, then adding the police on top of it, the wanted level, which is now properly functioning, makes the game more sandboxy and makes it a lot more fun. Because ultimately, even as they said, it gives you the power to create the character which you want to create depending on how you want to play. So I really want to see how are they going to flesh that out for the sequel. But that's not all, because you see there has been a lot of new names which also joined the studio. So joining them in this location are industry professionals with years of experience and a variety of well-known and impressive AAA projects. So first off, we have Dan Hernberg, which is joining the team as executive producer. Dan has previously worked as head of production at Amazon Games, head of production and product management at Panic Button, and lead product manager at Blizzard Entertainment, and contributed to such titles as New World, Apex Legends, and Diablo 3, among others. Now just keep in mind, before I go through other names and everything, I know some of you are gonna go and say, oh well, it's maybe problematic because, well, companies that these people worked with did some bad decisions, so hopefully it doesn't really go the same into CDPR. I don't think so, because at the same time, even though they are producers and executive producers, they are still working under, the management board of CD Projekt Red, so ultimately it's going to be up to the management board of CDPR to decide how they want to run their future games. If they want to go into that online element, how are they going to do microtransactions if they're gonna be doing that, and how are people going to accept that? It depends. They also got Ryan Barnard, who was the game director at Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft, as well as the gameplay director at Hitman developer IO Interactive. He will be contributing his skill set as design director. Very nice. Alan Villani is also entering the Projekt Orion team as engineering director, having previously lent his technical expertise as VP of technology on various Warner Bros. Game products, including technical direction on several Mortal Kombat titles. That's very nice. Next up is Anna McGill. She is the award-winning game writer and author with 20 years experience in video games. She joins Projekt Orion as lead writer on the heels of narrative contributions to such titles as Control with Remedy, Dishonored: Death of the Outsider with Arcane, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora at Ubisoft Massive, Guild Wars 2 at ArenaNet, and the upcoming Fable Playground Games. And also at the end they have Alexander Freed, who will further bolster the writing for Projekt Orion. The New York Times best-selling novelist, narrative designer, and comic book writer with over 15 years of game writing experience has previously worked as lead writer at BioWare. This is pretty good. Among other titles, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Pretty good. He has also written and consulted for various major studios including DICE, Obsidian Entertainment, Wizards of the Coast, and 20th Century Fox Games division Fox Next. Now, a lot of good names. You have to think about all of these names, especially Anna and Alexander, who are very good writers. So having them, join the studio and continuing to write for Cyberpunk sequel, I think this is amazing. Now, we shall see how the studio is going to navigate that. We shall see how the studio is going to navigate everything they said they want to do for the future, especially, as I always say, including those online elements and how are they going to be included, because a lot of those things can make or break your game depending on how you implement them. And if they are good, people will love them, but if they become a burden and if they are placed there just to, possibly milk money, then it's going to be bad. Now, of course, this is all far away. We still have to see what is gonna be happening with The Witcher when that comes out and how that game runs, especially because that's going to be their first game in Unreal Engine 5, or well, the first title which they're going to release away from Red Engine. Now, I'm also glad that the North American CDPR studio is growing. We shall see how fast this is gonna go also along with The Witcher, and honestly, I'm just looking forward to see what the title of the next Cyberpunk game is going to be, because that might tell us a lot. What's gonna be happening, who are we gonna be playing with, and the usual. So far, look, I think things are looking nice, especially looking at the people who have worked on Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty, who are now basically at the helm of that production. I am pretty good and confident about, the sequel, and I really do think and hope that they have learned everything from the main game, what it could have been done better, maybe some of the things which were very good which can go into the sequel as well. So hopefully those things return, hopefully we see something new, but for that to arrive, we have to wait a while. So, I'm glad it's all shaping up well, but it's still very early to talk about anything specific when it comes to that. And also at the end they said this: as work on the follow-up to Cyberpunk 2077 codename Projekt Orion enters early stages of development at CD Projekt Red North America, the company is currently hiring for various positions across its Boston and Vancouver locations. The full list of job openings is available on the official CD Projekt Red website and will further update once new openings become available. Yeah, and if you go to US, if you go to Orion on their hiring page, they are hiring a lot, like lead technical artist, lead level designer, senior writer, senior producer, senior quest designer, and so on. Honestly, there is a lot of hirings here, especially in the industry today, which is sadly letting a lot of people go. It is good to see this. So maybe one of you watching the video will, be a developer for Projekt Orion, who knows, but definitely good to look at this, that things are actually shaping up and we're moving forward towards the new titles from CD Projekt in general. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more, and tell me down below what do you think about all of this. Also, if you are watching today on the release of the video, there is new red streams which is happening later today, which I'm going to go live as always to follow up on. So either watch me there live if you can, if you want, or you can go and check out the live stream later. This is LKM signing out. Huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters, and I will see you in the next video, chooms. Bye bye.